Yo, guys, what's up, and welcome back to the Marvelous Chats podcast. This is episode 133. Tonight on the cast is myself, Finto, and Alex, aka Zaberwolf. Tonight, we're going to be talking about any nerdy news or rumors from the week, and there's not really much else going on. So, this is going to be a bit of a off the cuff one. So, we'll see how we get on. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit a like on the video and leave us a comment if you're watching a replay. Without further ado, here we go. Yo, what's up, dude?
Hey, buddy.
How are you?
I'm very stuffy today, so I might be muting him in between a lot.
That's fine, dude. Anybody who's listening wouldn't even notice, so we're all good.
I would hope not.
Yeah, I found myself sneezing a lot today as well, so I know there's a lot of pollen in the air, and I'm kind of suffering a little bit myself. So I feel your pain 100%. How's the week
Yeah.
been? How are you getting on? How's work? How's all that?
Week's been great. Work's been pretty busy actually. Developing some new stuff, migrating things, just a lot of systems being moved over to new updated ones, which is really cool. For me, I'm a nerd when it comes to all that stuff. Like when we're going from something old to something new,
Yeah.
or even brand new, like we become like first adopters.
Mhm.
It's so fucking cool. Like you're like, oh my god, I get to learn all this architecture. I get to understand like what languages that they're like migrating to, what commands are being updated. So all that kind of stuff gets me really nerdy and giddy at times because I'm like, that's fucking cool. I get to create new shit for the company. Fuck yeah.
That's cool, dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love, like, again, I work in IT myself, so I don't know. Yeah, there's like something nice about launching new stuff and helping people. That's kind of always been the deal for me. Like, I've always liked to kind of solve problems for people. And then people, I get it all the time. People are like, oh, I don't know how you have the patience to do this job. I could never do this job and all. And I'm just like, I don't know, man. I like helping people. Like, so I don't know, I take a weird satisfaction to kind of solving issues, and then going to somebody and saying, oh, that thing that was driving you crazy or stopping you from doing your job, yeah, it's all fixed now, so away you go.
Yeah. I love
So
that
yeah,
too.
that's me.
Have you ever ran into a situation where you've had to update something for a client and then it's broken? It just comes in and it's like, oh shit, it's just broken now. You have no
um
idea how to fix it at this point, and you have to wait till like the next day. It's like it makes me sweat because like
yeah.
I'll be there with my buddies, um, and something gets updated, and then the client's like, it's not working. And then there was this one story where like our lead was like, sorry, we just migrated for you, and then you fix the bugs. And in my head, I'm like, I don't know if that's a good thing to tell someone. Like, can you just tell them that?
Yeah, it's not very reassuring to the end user
No.
or the customer. Yeah. We've definitely done stuff like where we've broken stuff, and you have to either go to a replicated server or you have to roll back through backups and stuff like that. So yeah, like it does happen. I did something kind of stupid there a couple of weeks ago, where there was an old kind of distribution list for Microsoft within like a very old localized Exchange server, and the way that the company is set up, the replication doesn't go backwards, so everything is in the cloud. Like, as far as we were concerned for years, but there's a lot of legacy stuff that isn't really used anymore. But their like staff all email address, for example, is part of that
Mhm.
legacy. So, um, we were like trying to add new users as the approved senders or whatever for staff all, and I was like, can't add them here. I was like, what the hell? And I'm going onto like their Active Directory server on their domain controller, nothing there. And I'm like, what the hell? And then we ended up finding out that there was an old legacy Exchange server, 2016 Exchange server, sitting on a server. And this company, all of their servers, we didn't set any of this up, but all of their servers, they just have random Star Wars names, which, as a nerd, I obviously approve of this, but there's no functionality to it whatsoever, because it's just like, there's a server called Anakin, there's a server called Poe Dameron, there's a server called Cara Dune, and you're kind of like, but what the fuck do these servers do? You know what I mean? Because we didn't get any handover documents as well, like, because like the last IT crowd that were in there left kind of abruptly, and it wasn't a good kind of send off, so there wasn't a proper handover. So we're kind of figuring it out as we're going. And by chance, we just came across this old Exchange server on one of the servers, and it was just like, oh, okay, so this is where it is. And it looked like it wasn't like the changes weren't replicating backwards, so you had to make some of
Oh,
these changes from the bottom up. So yeah, but I deleted something at the bottom, thinking because it was down as like a guest account, and I was like, I'll delete it real quick and just re set it up as like a user account, and then it should synchronize up through AD and then into 365 and stuff. But it ended up deleting everything for this entire user, like, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, okay. So yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was funny, but like it ended up that she was like a returning staff member, and she was starting a new role. So after me for like a day trying to like get all of her emails back and get everything back the exact way it was, because there was no replication to this server, like, so I couldn't pull from a backup or anything. Then I kind of turn and say, like, any chance, like, I know you're starting a new role, like, do you need your old emails? And she was like, no, it's fine, I don't need any of that. So I was like, oh, thank God. So I just literally set her up as like a new user, and it was like away she goes. Like, but I was like, oh God, bro, could have been terrible, because like she was in the company for years. And if she turned around and be like, oh no, Jesus, of course I need all my emails, like, then it would have been just, would have been terrible.
Dude, I totally get that feeling. Like, I remember updating like Logstash for a cluster, and I was trying to do it via GitHub, and I had made the changes, but then it was saying that there was a conflict. So I updated the conflict, which then like completely broke the Logstash. And then like no logs were coming in. It was just building up in our NiFi, and it was just flow files going in, going in, going in. And this was like at midnight for me.
Yeah.
So I was panicking. I was like, I hit the logging support. I need you to fix this. I need you, because they were the kind of like the main owners of that repo.
Yeah.
And they're like, why was it this way anyways? I'm like, I don't know. Just revert it. We'll figure it out later. Like,
Yeah.
And they reverted it, and it's all fixed during the evening. Nobody was the wiser, but I still messaged like my manager about that. I said, hey, if this pops up, that was me. I apologize. I fucked up. So like,
Yeah.
but it never came back to me. So it was just like, fuck it. I was just like, fix it.
Yeah. I do that sometimes, like, where there's like something that could potentially go wrong, but like I'm kind of like, I'm gonna say nothing, and then if we're in the clear, we're in the clear. If not, we'll deal with it then, like, sort of thing. Like, and yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And just wanted to tack on to like the namesakes that you were talking about for Star Wars. So one of the coolest things, like being in this industry, is that like everybody's just as nerdy as you. Like,
Oh, yeah.
literally the teams that we have, like we have Team Peanut Butter Jelly, we have like Team Ragnarok, Black Pearl, like we when you log into our clusters, it's like you're anonymous, but you're called Doctor Strange, or like Dr. Banner. Like it's cool. Like,
Yeah.
it's just all these little things.
I remember visiting an office that was a client of ours at one point, and all of their meeting rooms were named after like Star Wars planets and shit. So it was like, Naboo and Hoth, and like, one of them was called the Death Star. I think that was like the boardroom or something. Like, it was hilarious. I was like, that's so cool. Yeah, my little nerdy heart skips a beat when I see shit like that. It's cool.
Exactly.
Yeah, just to kind of dip into some stuff again, we're just gonna go with the flow tonight. Like, I have a couple of topics I could bring up. I don't know. These could be like, we could talk about them for a minute, or we could talk about them for 20. I don't even know. But obviously, we don't have anything new this week to kind of talk about. Well, I don't anyway. I know there's a couple of movies that have come out. I don't know if have you been to the theater this week? Have you seen anything? I know Furiosa came out, or is that just out this weekend?
Dude, I haven't even watched the first Fury. Like, was it Mad Max Fury Road?
Fury Road, yeah, that came out. I saw that in cinema years ago, like, obviously when it first came out. But
Dude, I need to watch it.
I don't think you're missing much, to be honest. Like, again, I wasn't really I wasn't too blown away by that movie at all. Like, visually very cool. I really liked Nicholas Hoult in it. He kind of stole the show for me personally. I'm kind of interested in seeing the new one, but just with my home situation now, it's a little harder to get to the cinema. If I want to go, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be something I want to watch with my missus. Like, the two of us want to go to see the same stuff, which is great. But obviously at the same time, it's harder for us to get out because, we need to get the kids looked after and stuff like that. And I feel bad asking my parents because they do so much for us already. It's kind of like, I feel bad if I say, can you watch them for another 3 hours while we go out and go to the cinema and stuff, like, so it's a little harder. So I kind of don't really go to the cinema as much anymore unless it's something that I really want to see, or if it's something that I have to see for the cast or whatever. So Furiosa is one that I would definitely like to see. Obviously Chris Hemsworth's in it. Like, it's great to see him back doing press tours and stuff like that. And He was on Hot Ones, and he's doing like all the talk shows and stuff. Like, and he's yeah, I find him great. Like he's very funny, and he's a down to earth dude. He's like, it's nice to watch him. It's good to see him back.
And
Obviously, I don't know if you did you watch his Limitless show on, I think it was
no, but
National
I heard
Geographic
it
or
was
whatever.
pretty fun.
It was
Yeah.
cool. It was really cool. But then during the show, he kind of found out that he had like a very high percentage of getting like Alzheimer's later in life, and it kind of shook him to his core. And
Mm.
like he was like, "Geez, I need to slow down." And like he kind of took a break from acting for that reason. So that's kind of why you haven't really seen him around in the last kind of year or two. And like that all unfolds kind of live as he was making that show. And you can see it in him when he kind of hears the news from the doctor. He kind of like he's proper shook up by it. And yeah, it's crazy. Like obviously, Jesus Christ, like if he's probably got the highest chance of being grand. Like he's rich, he's got dietitians, and he's always training and all that sort of stuff. Like I'm sure he'll be fine. But it was just a real kind of snap back to reality for him. Like I'm sure he lives in a bit of a fucking dream world. Like he's Hollywood hunk, one of the sexiest men alive, and living it up, like not doing any, like just being an actor, getting paid to train, living most people's dreams, like, and then it's just like boom, like that. It just kind of you just get snapped back into it. Like life can just be short, like it can just be taken from you. It's crazy, bro.
Oh
But
yeah, man. Like,
really good watch. It's a good show. It's a good like reality show. I think it's on Disney. Sorry, I don't know why I said National Geographic. I think it's on Disney. But it's really good. I think it's only like 4 or 5 episodes, and his brothers are in it now, and it's good fun.
oh nice. Yeah, it's one of those things where, it doesn't matter like how rich or
Oh, of
powerful
course.
you are. In some cases you just get hit with things that are going to affect your body, and there's no cure for it at the time. So like, it's a tough gig. It's
Yeah,
really a tough
big
gig.
time. Big time. So yeah, like Furiosa, I think like I would like to see it. I'm not a big what's your one's name? Anya
Is
Taylor
it Anya
Joy.
Taylor-Joy?
I'm not massively of I wouldn't call myself a fan of her or anything. She's had a couple of good performances. I liked her in that Netflix one, The Gambit show, where she was the chess player. That was really
Mhm.
good. Other than that though, I haven't really been blown away by her. Like she kind of annoys me and things. And I know she's kind of meant to annoy you. I think that's kind of the characters like she's meant to play. Like she was in Peaky Blinders and you hate the character. Obviously that's probably her being a good actress, but I don't know. I don't think, oh yeah, she's in this. Let's go see it. Like, but I hear she has a good performance in this movie. So
Oh yeah. And I really liked her in The Northman with
I
Alexander Skarsgård.
yeah, myself and my missus watched that movie and we didn't really like it. I don't know what it was. It was like, and like I'm a big fan of like Vikings and stuff like that. And um
It
the
was it was in my opinion, it was way too Viking, like for
yeah,
some people. Like it's wholly like put into the I would say like the religious aspects of it,
yeah,
because they were really believed in their gods in that movie. Um and it really made it feel as if they were trying to use the gods as a way to justify what they were doing.
that's what they did, yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't like it wasn't like it was horrible for that. It's just it was way too hard for a lot of people to swallow. But I really enjoyed it only for the fact that like, I never heard of these gods before. I never heard of these types of like rituals that they would like produce. And just the fact that like the whole movie ends up being this like twist
Mhm.
where the mother actually wanted, Alexander's like dad to die, like what was it, Ethan Hawke?
Think so, yeah.
Like,
Wasn't
yeah,
Willem Dafoe in it as well? Like I can't really remember, man.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Willem Dafoe was like the main guy in the cave, like, and helping them like go through their ritual.
yeah,
And
yeah. It
just
was
it's
that was all really weird. That shit with Willem Dafoe in it. Like I remember thinking, like, geez, these scenes are kind of crazy to watch.
it's really fucked.
Yeah, yeah, it was. It was. I don't know. I just thought the pace of the movie was quite slow. Like the action and stuff in it was great. Like visually, it looked really good. And I love Alexander Skarsgård. I think he's great. Like, but I don't know. The movie just wasn't really for me. Like, I've no interest in going back and watching it again. But I did like a lot of the Viking shows that were on like Netflix and History and stuff. A lot of them were shot here in Ireland as well. Like, and friends of mine have been in the show and everything. So it's something that's like I would say close to my heart. Like, so I was thinking I'm gonna love this movie, but I just didn't really jump out at me too much. Like, it was okay, it was fine, but it just wasn't great.
Well, that's one of the things that we always have a problem with when it comes to trailers nowadays. Like they lie to you. When
Yeah.
we saw the Northman on trailer, a lot of it seemed to be action oriented,
Mhm.
but then you go into the movie And at the very beginning, you get some action scenes, like after like all the rituals and stuff that go on when he gets taken away to like overseas and goes to somewhere else,
Yeah.
and then gets raised by like a group of people, and then intentionally gets himself captured. Afterwards, it's like a really slow, like it's just a grind
Yeah.
in between, and like some of the action scenes that you'll see later, it's not even that like pushed on the actions.
Yeah.
It's mainly like at the beginning and at the end when you get that final that final fight between him and like his, I think his brother-in-law or something, or his uncle-in-law or something like that.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
bro,
so
I'd need to
fucked.
watch it again to be kind of refreshed on it. I watched it around release, and again, as I say, I haven't thought about it since. Um, Obviously, we've no new shows or movie. Well, I've no new shows or movies to talk about this week, but I suppose on the next podcast we're gonna have. I can't remember. Is it next week or the week after now? Actually, I think it's the week after. Yeah, so it's I think it's June the 4th. We have like the new Star Wars show, The Acolyte. They're gonna be
Mhm.
airing like the first two episodes of it. Um, so obviously we'll be talking about that. Uh, I don't know, bro. Like I think I've been reading some of the reviews and stuff like that, and a lot of them are just like, uncharacteristically positive, and I think it's like a bit of a red flag if I'm being honest, because it's like I'm not seeing any bad reviews, and like there should be a kind of healthy mix of good and bad. But
Right.
everything is just like this is everything Star Wars needed. This is what we all want as fans, and it's like it feels a little forced or something to me. So I'm definitely going to go in with an open mind. I want to see the show in its entirety, but I gotta say, fuck you to Lucasfilm and Disney, because they've put out like they always seem to be doing recently, and we give out about this quite a bit. And I haven't seen it in a while. This is the first time I'm bringing this up in a bit, but this show, if you go onto like Star Wars main YouTube channel, they have like in the last week they have about 6 or 7 videos uploaded from the show, and each of these videos has footage that hasn't been seen in the previous one. So like they're showing so much in all of these TV spots and trailers and clips, official clip this and fucking TV spot that and all. And it's like they literally gave away one of the biggest plot points of the show in one of these trailers. And I'm kind of
Really.
thinking like, yeah, like Jesus, bro, it was so stupid. Like, I don't know why they showed it. Like they've been going on about the whole show, and they've been showing all the trailers of like the what they call the acolyte, the evil Jedi who's going around killing people. And then they show a clip that kind of reveals the main kind of storyline. I don't even want to say it for anybody who's listening. I don't want to ruin it for people if they haven't watched it. But they say this thing in the fucking show, and it's like in the official clip, like one of the last uploads this week, and it's kind of like I kind of sat back and I said, "What the fuck? Why did they do that? Like, why did they show that? Like, because that just kind of tells me exactly what's going on." Now they didn't say it per se, but it's like it's right in your face. Like, it's obvious. Like, it's crazy. And I'm just
Mm.
thinking, like, they've just done this again where they've just released way too much. I remember giving out about this around the time of Black Widow when they were showing us like official clips, and they released like the first like 5 or 6 minutes of the movie on YouTube. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, obviously, they're not selling enough tickets, and they need to go, okay, like, we need to give people more of this, and in hopes that we kind of, catch a few more fish or whatever, like, and bring people in. But they're just going too far with this shit, man. It's really annoying me now at this stage.
Right. I think it has to do with the marketing.
Yeah,
I'm not really seeing anything in terms of the Acolyte out in the open. I've not really seen anything on like different websites trying to advertise the Acolyte. When they don't advertise it effectively, I think that's why they hit like kind of their panic button, just do TV spotlights on YouTube because it's
yeah,
cheap and it's easy. But it's just like you said, it gives up way too much information about what's going to happen in the show, and it
yeah,
even gets rid of a lot of like points in the show where you would be excited to see it happen during the time that like it's about to happen. It like case in point, when we were watching Hawkeye, like they had a lot of TV spots for that as well,
hmm, yeah,
and it was such a pain in the ass. Like I think they also did w- uh god Falcon and the Winter Soldier. They did
hmm,
a few TV spots for that as well, and it's like, what are you doing, man? Like, it's a show. Like, you can't just give us a lot of things to like eat up
yeah,
before the show even starts. At that point, it's like, okay, yeah, we already saw it. And then the ratings kind of like, I'm sure the ratings will go up a bit because it grows interest a bit, but it doesn't create the sense of like wonder
Yeah.
or cliffhangers even. It's just like, all right, we've seen it. Cool.
Oh,
I guess
bro.
we're just gonna watch it again.
You mentioned Wonder, and I'm just like, this show is meant to be kind of Star Wars version of a kind of like murder mystery sort of thing. But they but they give away the main kind of mystery in one of these trailers. It's outrageous, man. Like it's crazy. I just
That's so stupid.
yeah, I don't get it, man. I really don't get it. It's fucking wild to me. And you know, Disney aren't the only ones doing this shit as well. Like it's definitely happening elsewhere. Like I was watching. There's a show on Apple TV called Dark Matter. Highly recommend, by the way. Fantastic show. Joel Egerton is like the lead in it, and Jennifer Connelly's in it as well. Really good show. Really, really good show. I think I'm on episode like 4, but I'm trying to watch it slowly because there's only like 6 episodes out, and I'm like I don't want to catch up and then have to wait. So I'm kind of going at a real slow pace with it. But like at the end of episode 1, and they do this. Apple seem to do this quite a bit, where like episode 1 will finish, and then before the credits even start rolling, big banner up on the screen.
Yeah,
This
it pulls it
season,
up.
it goes
Yeah.
this season on Dark Matter, and it starts showing you all these shit from the later on in the series. And I'm like, no, stop. I'm like, what the hell? Um, it was crazy. And I can't remember. I was watching something. I can't remember what show it was. I watched something without my girlfriend, and I kind of watched a few episodes, and then I said to her, I was like, I think you'll like this, so I'll watch episode 1 with you again. And I went back and started watching episode 1, and then it did that thing this season on, and then started showing loads of shit. And I was kind of just like, I was really pissed off watching it because obviously I'd seen all these bits happen, but I was like, she shouldn't have seen that, and that kind of ruins the flow of this. And it's just kind of like, oh shit. Like I was like, skip this, and she's like, no, I don't mind watching. I was like, don't, like I was seeing it all happen. I was like, do not watch this. I was like, this is terrible. This is ruining the whole show. And I was like,
Right.
sorry, it was Mr. I know exactly what it was. It was Mr. and Mrs. Smith on Amazon. And I watched the start of the season without her, and then I think we finished it together. But I was like maybe 5 episodes ahead of her, and then it was like at the end of the thing. So Amazon do this as well, and then at the end of it, it was like started showing all clips of like people that she was going to meet in cameos and stuff throughout the season, and I was like, that is bullshit. Like that is bullshit. It drove me crazy, bro.
Dude,
Oh
like, can you imagine how, like, I'm pretty sure maybe they've done trailers or something, or even like little snippets of, things like The Simpsons or other such shows, like animated shows. They don't really do that for that. And I'm not sure if it's because they're thinking that, like, oh, not very many people are going to be interested in these animations or anything, but like it would matter to me. Like imagine if they did The Simpsons and they're like this season, and then they show a bit of Treehouse of Horror before it even like showed up. That's like
yeah,
their bread and butter with Treehouse of Horror. Like I
yeah,
love watching those episodes.
they're the best.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, and then like when it came to the trailers for X-Men 97, when they were trying to do like a mid-season trailer, I'm like, fuck you, I'm not watching that. The
yeah, yeah,
show's so good. I
yeah,
don't care. I don't need you to tell me what's going to happen later. I want to know when the episode comes out.
yeah.
It,
I'm
it
the I'm
it's
the exact same. I'm the exact same.
so
Like
fucking
when I'm
crazy.
watching something, I'm like keep it to a minimum. Obviously, I'm big into like the scooping spoilers, like uh fucking environment. But it's like I don't mind what listening to stuff like that when it's kind of unconfirmed. It's just kind of theory and guesswork, and it's
Mhm.
happening a year before the release of something, so it keeps me kind of hyped and looking forward to something. But when something's officially out, I'm like, I don't want to see anything. I'm done.
Exactly.
Let's just watch it now, please. And yeah, I don't know why, but they just seem to do that. And like, I don't know if it's just the way they're trying to sell content to people. Maybe like people's attention spans are so low that it's like you need to physically be seeing this shit to kind of draw you back in. But like even on Netflix, I'm watching Jujutsu Kaisen, right? And at the end of every episode, it shows like while it's saying like the way it does the countdown to the next episode,
Yeah,
it starts
yeah,
showing you shit from the next episode. And I'm like,
yeah.
I'm trying to click it so quick because I'm like, I don't want to see anything. Let me watch the episode.
Right. Yeah, so like that's the thing with anime. I think they've always done that. So like
Yeah.
it's something that I'm totally aware of, and I totally skip it afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Eh,
just annoys me, dude. I don't know why they do that. You're muted.
my bad. I feel like I'm like
Yeah. No,
back
it's
and
fine.
forth between sniffling and whatnot.
You're okay. I saw your lips move, and I was like, no, you're not talking. um, yeah, man. I just like and like icing on the cake with the Acolyte, kind of just to roll back to that for a second. But I went to see the Phantom Menace, the 25-year anniversary of it on the big screen. And like at the start of the movie before the film starts, it's like, stay in your seats after the film for an exclusive clip from the Acolyte. And I was like, Usually I wouldn't like really care, but I was like, oh, this might be cool to actually see on the in IMAX, like, you know. I was like, this could be really cool. So I was like, oh, obviously I'm gonna hang around and watch this. I stayed till after the credits. It's taken forever, you know what I mean? My girlfriend's like, oh, I really need to go to the toilet. I was like, come back because I'm gonna be sitting there. I want to watch this clip. So she ends up going out and coming back, and I sit there waiting for the whole time. And guess what? The exclusive clip is something I've already seen. Like, it was up on YouTube already. I'd already watched it. Now I was like, okay, I'll watch it on the big screen. But like this clip had just been like doing the rounds for a couple of weeks on YouTube already, and I was just like, for fuck's sake. Yeah,
That's how you know they're not with the times, man. Like if
yeah,
if they've already set that stuff out on YouTube, they should
yeah.
leave it as such. Like
It's not
don't put it
it's
out
not
again.
exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was only
So
watching a I was only watching there was like a documentary that was made around the time of the release of episode 1 of Star Wars, and like the entire fan base was like so excited for that movie because they like Return of the Jedi was the last thing they saw, and it was like, you know, that epic original trilogy from the 80s and 70s. And then episode 1 came out, and all the oldie fans didn't really like it because they'd grown up and they didn't want to see like Jar Jar Binks and the kiddie shit and stuff. Like, so I fully understand. Me, I was the perfect age for it. It was like that movie changed my life. That's why I wanted to see it again on the big screen. But like they did a thing in the cinemas over in the US where they publicly announced that they were showing a trailer for the movie, and people were buying tickets to just see random films so that they could watch the trailer for Star Wars on the big screen. And then the second the trailer was over, they'd leave. They wouldn't even watch the movie they bought the tickets for. Like that's how big it was. And now we're in a world where it's like there's just like clips here, clips there, like just random shit everywhere. Like, you know, it's just I
well,
don't know what's happened, man.
dude, and then you get like even more people that are so excited to like watch this stuff, and then they want to be the first person to explain or talk about endings, which I've always been a whole like I hate that stuff, dude. It's especially prevalent on things like Twitter, on TikTok and stuff like that. When the manga is over for like an anime, like people are like, why such and such died, or why such and such did this at the end of the show, or you know, it's like, dude, nobody's seen it yet because they're waiting for the episode to come out. Like don't
Yeah.
spoil like the source material just because you want to get like a few notes out. And people will like I've heard of people like talk about it all the time, how they don't understand why people want to put that out. And even like our buddy like Rob McSluther, he's like, oh, I'm usually on like Twitter or like TikTok or something, and then I get spoiled on something for Demon Slayer, and I'm like, and I'm like, dude, get off of it, or keep up with the times. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And is this the manga getting spoiled ahead of like the creation of the anime, or is
yes,
this yeah, so that's like that's different to movies and TV, obviously. Like, you know, there's a bit of a spoiler window, like when the new Game of Thrones airs, you know, realistically people are going to watch that live and then they're going to go straight on Twitter and start talking about the big epic things that happen. So for me personally, I know not to go online, or like I stay off social media until I've seen it. And you know, a lot of like the first showings of like Deadpool and like Wolverine, for example, are going to be shown on the 25th here. But I don't have my tickets till the 26th, so I know I go to bed on the night of the 25th. When I wake up on the 26th in the morning, I can't go online. I have to do that whole work day. No Twitter, no TikTok, no Instagram, whatever, Facebook, none of it. Like I have to stay off all of it because I don't want to see any official screenshots. I don't want to see like pictures from the theater with like a cameo on the screen that no one knew about and it blew everybody's brains. I'm like, I can't see that, like, because that's just gonna piss me off, you know.
yep.
So yeah, I understand like the frustration for people when it comes to that sort of stuff. Obviously, after I've seen something, I'll go straight to YouTube because I want to watch like, you know, heavy spoilers talk about it, or you know, new rock stars, or any of these like deep nerds who like know the shit back to front. It's nice to
Mhm.
kind of listen to their takes on it and stuff like that. And Den Nerds, all these great guys, like, but yeah, obviously I don't, you know, like I've been in live streams for like the Den of Nerds, and he'll start talking about something that I haven't had a chance to watch yet because it airs early here, and I'm just
And
like,
then you mute.
no, I'm just like, bye. I'm like, I'm not even giving you the view, bro. I'm like, I'm gone. I'm see ya. I just type in the chat. See you later, lads. I'm like, I'm outie. And then I'm just no, I have to go back and rewatch it at a later date. Like, but yeah, I got the manga stuff must be really annoying because like I think the mangas are in a lot of cases are like a while before the animes come out, right? Like
Right. Yeah.
it's a
Like,
good bit ahead.
oh yeah. When you think about Demon Slayer, the manga's already done.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So
saying.
like
Like,
people know the ending after reading the manga. So like that can get really bad when you're trying to watch the next few episodes, because then they're like, why this and this is related to this thing that happened that you haven't even seen yet because the anime is not caught up yet. And it's
yeah.
like, dude, fuck off. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, you want to be that first person to put the news out about this kind of stuff. But if that's the case, you need to put it in the manga side of things and not in the fucking anime, because people actually get pissed off over that and then they're not as excited. And then that's how
Yeah.
some shows get ruined.
I'm so happy that like like say Marvel Comics and DC Comics. I'm so happy that the source material isn't followed that precisely. Like, could you imagine if like Deadpool and Wolverine coming out in like 2 months' time now? It's like imagine if that was told in comics a year ago, like it'd be all over the internet. Like, everyone would be like, this is exactly how it goes. This is how the comic went. If you don't want to know, don't read the comics, blah, blah, blah. Like, that would just drive me mad. And obviously, you'd be reading the comics, well, probably reading the comics. And then it's like the movie's just like kind of ruined on you because it's like, obviously, it would be cool to see it done in live action, of course. But I don't know, there's kind of something, there's a little bit of magic gone for me anyway. If I knew precisely, like word for word, a story was being told that was already told in the comics. Like, I think it's kind of cool when you see the tip of the hat to the comics and the source material, but it's nice to see like the personal spin that they put on it. But yeah, I don't know. I suppose manga and anime is different, but yeah, that would
No,
kind
but
of
like you're completely right about that, because that's the whole point of comics. At least that's how I feel about it. When you have source material from like different worlds, different universes, the whole point of the movies is to kind of give your own spin on it, just like you said. And it feels cool because then it's like, all right, we get a new story that we get to work with. It's not exactly the same, but it's very similar. It's almost like it's really trying to take from what originally happened and just kind of mix it with ultimates or mix it with other things that we've seen in comics. And so like, and you can't necessarily do it one to one, especially when it comes to live action, because it's so difficult to recreate some of the things that they do. And like, rightly so. Like, I agree with you. I think it's great that we get to watch something that's kind of like been reduxed.
Mhm.
um it's not completely the same. Like, it's not like we can go to the comic and be like, all right, let's read this. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah,
It's just it's like a new, it's like a new sandwich that you get. It's like
yeah,
got this almost the same amount of toppings, but instead of cheddar, they use Swiss.
yeah, yeah,
You know?
yeah, 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 for sure. Um, keeping on the Star Wars topic, I know there's a I brought it up before on the podcast, but there's a YouTube channel called Prism, and this dude is using like AI generated art and AI voiceovers to kind of tell retellings of like the sequel trilogy is how he kind of got on the map. He did like at 7, 8, and 9 as like its own kind of separate movies. I was only talking to one of the lads during the week and said to him, like, you need to watch this. Like, this is really cool. But basically, what he's doing at the moment. So he did 7, 8, and 9. I watched them all. They were fantastic. It's probably about 2 hours worth of watching altogether, but it's really worth it. Like, it's just one to kind of sit back and just let it play. Just watch the AI art and listen to the voice. It's kind of like listening to an audiobook, but with some visuals. And it's
Right.
just really like some of the AI is kind of funny because it's like real wacky. Like some of the faces they pull are kind of funny. So you're kind of like nearly laughing throughout some of it. But the story is just 50 times, and no exaggeration, 50 times better than the scripts that were put out for 7, 8, and 9 by Disney and Lucasfilm. It's outrageous how much better the story is for these movies. It just flows and it just makes sense. You know what I mean? But now what he's done is he's going back and he's doing the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, but he's kind of again just kind of making it make sense using AI art, using the voiceovers. Like he's got like an AI generated Ewan McGregor and there's an AI generated Cal Kestis showing up in it and everything. And it's just fucking brilliant, man. I love it. And just like you're kind of listening to it all unfold and you're kind of like, oh, that makes so much more sense that it would be like, that the story would go this way and all this sort of stuff. And like they do the Reva story better and it's so good. But he's like releasing it in like little like parts. So I think he's on like Obi-Wan Kenobi part 6 or something at the moment. Like, but highly recommend. Highly recommend. It's really, really good.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's just I love that like there's some of these fans out here like making fan films and stuff like that that are just like better than what we're getting officially from Disney and so on. Like it's wild to me. Like, you know, and I say it all the time, kind of half joking, but I genuinely do believe if the two of us were sat down in a writer's room like with some of these like official people, like I think we could probably make a better movie than Disney half the time. Like, you know, I genuinely do. Like I think we could write something better a lot of the time. Like so I just the downfall is quite entertaining to me, shocking to me, and I think it will be studied in years to come. There's how wrong it's gone in a lot of senses for a lot of these projects, like and how easily you can fix it. Like I don't know if it was official or not, but I saw Star Wars Theory put out a reaction to a video he was watching, and it was like someone breaking down the original scripts for the Kenobi show, which was meant to be a trilogy of movies. And you're listening to this like script being read out, like, you know, kind of the plot points of the script, and you're kind of just like, oh my God, this is so much better than what they made on the show. Like, it's not even funny. And like, Thierry's reaction to it is absolutely brilliant. Like, highly recommend people watch that. It's very, very funny. But speaking of
Oh
fan
man.
films, go on. Sorry, what were you going to say?
I was just thinking about everything that you just said. It's like it goes to show how much the like development of AI and generative AI has been so helpful in like, creating new ways of like essentially developing the proper storyline for something. Like if you go with Gen AI and you prompt it to make you a story that's akin to like all the information that you know so far of like previous stories or even like future stories, it will generate something like that would be very similar to what it probably would work in the film. So like it's amazing to me how like some people are actually afraid of AI where it's actually very helpful to us.
Hmm.
um and I can't wait to see more of this as time goes on. And I know some people are like kind of like even writers might be a little bit worried about having their job taken over by Gen AI. But that's not the case, dude. Like the whole point of Gen AI is to just help you kind of like
Do the grunt
articulate.
work,
Yeah, like
basically.
give you something to articulate, and
Yeah.
then you kind of put your spin on it. Like you're not going anywhere, but you need to keep up with it
Yeah,
so that you so
that's like all the technology though, right? Like you got to adapt or you're gonna get ran over. Like and Blockbuster are a perfect example. Like you know what I mean? The
yeah.
world of media changed. They didn't, and you saw what happened there. Like it just they ceased to exist almost overnight. Like
I think
um
they tried to at the last minute and it just
yeah,
it
far too late.
got trampled.
Yeah, far too late. And like you know, there was Blockbuster kind of similar companies over here. Um, that did the exact same thing. You know what I mean? They just didn't adapt at all. And I don't know, like I'd say it's a lot harder for like Irish kind of equivalents to Blockbuster over here. Like we'd one called Extravision and um can't even think of the other. There's another big chain. I can't even. It was kind of like Blockbuster. I can't even think of the name of it now. But anyway, yeah, I can't even remember their names now. But literally, like it was the same story, you know. And I used to love that. I used to love that life, you know what I mean? Like being young and going down to the local like movie store and you know renting a couple of the new movies and some old classics, and you know you'd go home with like a bunch of like movies on a Friday night with a few friends, and you'd have like you know some takeaway food or whatever, or like some like junk food, and you just go home and just have fun. And like some of the ones over here, I don't know if they did this in your ones, but you were able to rent like video games as well. Did they used to do that
Yeah.
for you guys? So
Oh
like you could
yeah.
rent like PlayStation 2 and like Xbox 360 and stuff. And I remember like being young and there used to be a video shop. We used to call them video shops. There used to be a video shop around the corner from me, and I always wanted like before like we could afford like my parents like could afford like buying me the new video game all the time. Like and we used to have to go and rent them and play them. Like, you know, you could rent it for a week for like, you know, 7 or 8 euros or something like that, or
Hmm.
£5 or something. I can't even remember how much they were, but I remember like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1. I was trying to rent it for so long because I wanted to just play it. And like every time I'd go in, I'd be like, "Is Tony Hawk's back yet? Like, can I rent it?" And they'd be like, "No, it's still out." And I'm like, "What the hell?" I was like, "How long has this person had it?" And they were like, "Yeah, one of our copies obviously has been stolen because it's been out. It's been gone for like 100 days and it's not
Yep.
coming back." I was like, "Fuck." But yeah, man, it was just different life, man. But I do miss it. Like, you know, there's a lot to be said for it. Like, it used to be great.
dude, and the deals were sometimes amazing. Like it's like rent this movie, get another movie for free, or rent
Yeah.
2 movies, get a video game for like half the price or something like that. And
What they
it's for
used
like a good 5 to 7 days.
Yeah, yeah. They used to do like 48-hour deals for us. So like you'd go down on a Friday night, and then you'd have it like Friday night. So you'd have Saturday night, and then you'd bring it back on Sunday or whatever. So you'd have the stuff for the whole weekend. So you'd watch a movie on Friday night, you'd watch something on Saturday, and something on Saturday night again, and you know what I mean. Then you drop all the stuff back on Sunday. Otherwise, you get like a charge. But
Yeah.
what they started doing over in our place, and this is how I started like becoming a collector, was they used to do it so everything would be in the new releases, and then after it had been rented a couple of 100 times, they'd put it back in the original box, and then they'd put it on a shelf to be sold as like pre-owned. So
Mhm.
like they used to do deals like where you get like 5 pre-owned movies for like $20, and you'd go in like, and that's how I kind of started collecting stuff, because I'd be like, oh, I want to buy this and add it to my collection, and that's how it started growing. And you can even see behind me here like all these old DVDs that I have, like I'll never throw them out. Like I've so many of them, and I have like a whole shelf of them behind me, and there's a shelf downstairs as well. Like, and I don't know, man. I love having the physical media there. Like, even if I don't watch it, it's kind of nice to have it. Kind of like, I don't know. I suppose like some people like looking at a bookshelf. If for me, it's like I love looking at like a DVD and Blu-ray shelf. Like, yeah.
Sorry, I keep sneezing in
No,
between.
no, you're fine.
So-
You're fine. Speaking of we were talking about fan made stuff, but there's actually a Logan fan film. I think it's called Logan the Wolf, and it's blowing up. It's out like 9 days now, and it's got over 2 million views on YouTube. I was thinking, if you wanted, it's only like 11 minutes long. Do you want to watch it and react to it together now?
Sure. Although I kind of find it funny how like it's called Logan the Wolf when he's a Wolverine. It's
Yeah.
like, what?
I know. But I think, again, I haven't watched it now, but from what I can see, even just from the thumbnail, it kind of feels like a kind of Viking take on Wolverine.
Mhm.
So kind of it's kind of fitting to what we were talking about already. But yeah, it's kind of like a Viking kind of telling of Wolverine, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's throw it on. Fuck it. Let's do it.
Sure.
And we'll see how we go. I don't usually share stuff too often here. Anybody who might be listening to this, I apologize. Maybe you want to go and watch this on YouTube. Let's see. Logan the Wolf.
Just make sure to give credit.
Yeah, of course. I'll link the full video in the comments if you want to go and watch it. Like, extremely violent.
I love it.
I am wrath. I am chaos and violence.
It's Viking as fuck.
I already love the accent.
Yeah.
Resurrection. I am Fenrir's fury.
Oh man, he's preparing.
Oh yeah. He's about to fuck some shit up.
Yeah.
What if Wolverine was a Viking, eh?
I mean, there's probably a universe for it.
Yeah.
They have Spider-Man UK.
True. Man, this looks so fucking professionally made. This is insane. Like, this looks like a real movie. Like,
Yeah, I love when they take the time to develop their like story and actually make it look very well done.
Like, they can do shit like crane shots so easily now with
I've been
drones and
waiting
stuff. So
for you.
there's no cost
Should I
to it
run
anymore.
instead? I don't run away from miserable creatures.
I've heard a lot about you. Stories are told about a ferocious war that butchers women and children,
Okay.
and even slaughtered 20 of Gunnar's men alone. Lies! Nothing more than fairy tale to scare little kids. Lord Otto put a bounty on your head. And I don't give a shit what they say about you or what you've done.
My name isn't Taserface.
I'm here for the money.
Better do a flying jump off this rock with the claws out. Oh, the music's fucking epic.
Mm-hmm.
Are you
He looks like Taserface.
He does. Taserface is actually the dude from This Is Us, you know,
Such a leader, man.
Chris Sullivan.
Yeah.
Shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The moon is out.
Oh yes, full moon, baby.
The wolf's
Wolf's
claws
ready to go
are
off.
coming.
I leave one of you alive, so you can warn your sons about those fairy tales.
I like that he's short as well, like Logan. Wait a minute.
Get him!
Where's the claws? Plot twist, this isn't even Logan. Imagine.
I mean, maybe he has the same healing factor.
Oh shit, yeah, no. This better be him. And the choreography's incredible.
Really well done.
Whoa. Oh my god.
I wonder how long this took.
I'd love to know. I need to know more.
Yeah, at that point, he'd be dead. Like, it's so many things.
So much for that. Take the body.
You did pretty good.
Yeah?
It ain't over yet, though, I have a feeling. There we go. Oh my god.
So if he has the adamantium claws already, I'd like to
I was
know the
gonna ask-
backstory on
I was
that.
going to ask the question, but I don't think it's that important.
Maybe it's a different set of metal?
Yeah, it might be more. Maybe it was given to him by the gods.
That'd be cool. Like, what if it's like
What kind of
Asgardian
demon
metal?
are you?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because they all believe in
I
Norse
know
mythology, you know?
Logan.
Logan.
Kill him.
That is no wolf. That's a Wolverine.
We tried already, we said. Oh! Wow. Oh my god, bro.
Oof. Dude, I'm telling you, man. Like,
Wow.
it doesn't even have to be in the U.S. Just do a different version of Wolverine that like this.
Oh my god, man, this is so violent. It's crazy.
Love it,
It's incredible.
dude. That's Marvel to me. Marvel's fucking brutal.
Yeah.
I need to see blood.
Baby blood.
Do it, you pussy. Okoye? I'm just kidding.
The blade breaker?
Then that probably means he does have bone claws.
Oh my god, man, there's so much going on here. This is actually insane.
It's good. It's so good.
Choreography is through the roof, man. This is better than. This could be better than anything I've seen in a Wolverine movie yet.
Right?
Whoa!
Yeah. I mean, because that would actually happen.
Easily, bro. Holy shit, man! Like this rivals Logan, like the actual movie.
It's rated PG-13 by Disney.
Bro, just run away. seriously, just go.
I think he's
You
fucked.
freak.
He's the one that gets left alive.
Leave now and tell your kind about me. Tell your kind a new god will soon rule. Tell your kind a new era is upon them. Go now!
I like the breathing, like.
Who goes there?
Impressive.
The saber tooth.
Don't know.
If you're here for the bounty, just look at them and see your end.
Very, very promising. I've been watching you. You have something unique that brings my attention.
What do you want?
I want you to join me. Together we would be unstoppable.
No man walking these lands can slay me. What would I be doing with you?
You know, we're not so different, you and I. We share the same aversion and repugnance for those animals. If we gather...
I don't need you. Just go home while you still can.
I had a feeling it was
Oh.
Magneto. I had a feeling. Motherfucker.
The eye was throwing me off. I was thinking, like, you know, Odin maybe. Oh god. This is fucking epic, bro.
See, I'm just like you, a god among the commons. But instead, humans call us monsters. They fear us. They want us extinct. And trust me, they'll keep hunting us down and slaughter the ones we love until all our heads onto their spikes. But we're about to change that.
Death isn't my concern, mortal. Last warning.
I love the sound of them coming out.
That's a shame. I thought you'd understand.
Of all people.
Yeah.
You're going to die like the rest of them.
Show me.
Hell yeah, dude.
Nice.
Hell yeah. And that was so impressive. Like,
Yeah.
massive shout out to everybody involved in making that. Wow.
Amazingly done. Like I really enjoyed it. I was getting really like enamored with the film itself.
Oh my god.
For it to
bro.
be for it
I'd
to
watch
be
a full
short,
film of
like oh yeah.
I'd watch a full film of
And it really shows like how you can you don't have to touch anything that's happened in the previous comics or even in the previous films. You create your own world with the
Yeah.
same characters because like that's how the multiverse works. Like you have different areas of the world that get touched by these different mutants or even if these different heroes. Like you have, you know, what if you know, Steve Rogers was made within like the UK, and you know, what if, you know, all these different scenarios that play out, which is really fun, like to think about, you know, like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like Spider-Man UK where Captain Britain basically becomes like Spider-Man because of like
Nice.
some other Spider-Man like spider totems that get murdered. Like it's so fucking good because there's so many different ways to like portray this character and to have the same output, and they're still so badass.
Agreed. DC do this very well as well in the comics. You know, they'll do a whole series. Like there's a series going on. I think it just finished. It's been going on for like about a year now. I think it's called like the Knights of Steel or something like that. And it's kind of the Justice League, but it's set back in like Game of Thrones time. So, you know, like it's just so well put together. Yeah, like that as a movie, I would watch a full movie that all day. Like every single like choreography was through the roof. The acting was great. The costume design, everything, special effects, all of it was just top tier, 10 out of 10. Like honestly blown away by that. That might be one of, if not the best fan films I've ever watched. Like, I was actually, that was insane. It really was.
Yeah,
Like,
like
absolute bow to all those people. Like, fair play.
they had passion for it, man. You could clearly tell the actors were like in on it. They're like, that sounds so badass. They wanted to, play the
Yep.
part. And I thought that like with it being Magneto, that's really good. I was honestly like, that's a good choice, but I was hoping it was Stryker. Like just kind of
Yeah,
this moment of like they capture him, or that group actually captures him. And from the shadows, you see that Stryker comes out and he's like, ultimately, we want you to be, or like in the end, we were able to cage the beast,
Mhm.
and therefore like, or figure out a way to say like, you will be our ultimate weapon, our
Yeah,
weapon X, if you say, if you will,
yeah.
like some cheesy shit like that, just to kind of make it look like, okay, so the story's kind of like coming around, and so the like either adamantium claws or maybe even different style like metals would be infused within him in the same way, so that he gets kind of like that same look. You could go in that direction, or you could just keep it the way it is and just have it be that like he's just regular Wolverine, like a berserk style with bone claws rather than adamantium. It's just any which way you want to go. Like that's how cool this story could be.
Agreed. Yeah, like I'd be curious. I'd love to know like more about this Logan now. Like the fact that he has metal claws. Has he actually gone through the surgeries and stuff already? Like, or is this just the way that this version it was from the get go? Like,
Right.
yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Wow, blown away. I genuinely am lost for words. Um, I don't even know what to say after that. That was crazy. I heard that Amazon are doing a Tomb Raider TV show. What do you think about this? Have you heard anything about it? I know we're kind of gamers at heart, so
I mean, I've actually not heard of that at all, but like I could see how it would be a good time to revive some of the old video game / like movie types, where like Tomb Raider was a movie, in like, I think there were 3 parts of it with Angelina Jolie. We do have a new Tomb Raider that was created, like it was kind of like the origins of her,
yeah,
like of Lara Croft. Yeah, I mean, why not? Like it would be a good time right now, considering that like they've done a good job showcasing Fallout. They did a good job showcasing The Last of Us. I think they can move forward with this and just
yeah,
start like branching out. When it comes like the one thing I would like for them to also revive is maybe like Assassin's Creed, because I know they were trying to do that and it just
yeah. I
kind of
wasn't a fan.
toppled.
Love Fassbender as well, obviously, but that movie just wasn't good. I'm a big Angelina Jolie fan, especially when those movies came out. Like, she was obviously amazing,
Hmm.
and that still couldn't save these movies. I don't think they were good. And then the revived version of Tomb Raider wasn't even good either. Like, it was just not good. But I just think in the last couple of years, I think you're right. Like, pretty much all of the adapted um video game to kind of media stuff like movies and TV, I think have gone well. At the ones that you've mentioned, some of them made by Amazon as well, which is obviously a good sign that they're taking on Tomb Raider. The Uncharted movie, I think, was probably a success overall by Sony. I like Tom Holland as thing, and it's kind of a comfort movie for me. I might get fucking shunned in the comics for this saying this, but I think it's quite a good film. I enjoyed. I've watched it a few times. I saw it on the big screen. Obviously, I'm a massive Uncharted fan. If you've been on my Twitch channel, you know this. Like, I'm big into like the Naughty Dog games. I love The Last of Us as well. The TV show's been fantastic. So yeah, like I think probably now is the time to do stuff like this. But in my opinion, the Tomb Raider franchise are 0 for 2. So, third strike and you're out sort of thing. Like, I think if this fails, they have to just put the character to bed. I think there's like, you can't go and do a 4th iteration of it. Like, it's kind of ridiculous if 3 of them kind of fail, and you know what I mean. Like, so
I mean, I heard that the new Tomb Raider wasn't that bad. I think it was just either Shadow or Rise of the Tomb Raider that was like causing trouble.
I'm gonna look it up now just while we're talking. I know Dominic Purcell was in it, or Dominic West, sorry. Yeah, this movie, like, it came out in
Oh,
2018.
movie.
Yeah,
Oh, I was
yeah.
talking about the games.
No, I'm talking about the movies, bro. I'm talking about like live
There's a
action
Tomb Raider
shit here.
movie.
Yeah, it came out in 2018. That's the one I'm talking about. It was with Dominic West was in it. He played like Walton Goggins is actually in it. Um,
Oh yeah, I remember this now. Yeah,
yeah,
I saw it and I was like, nope, this is bad.
yeah, exactly. And like, so that what I'm talking about is this and like the Angelina Jolie shit. So it's like, they're 0 for 2, really. Like, again, this is on a 6.3 out of 10 on IMDb, which actually isn't the worst score, but and like it's got like nearly 230,000 votes. So like
Mhm.
that's pretty solidified at a 6 point whatever, you know what I mean? So like it's theoretically it's not too bad, but I remember why I remember starting it and I actually turned it off. I didn't even watch the end of it. Like, and for me, that's rare. I rarely turn a movie off. And I love Dominic West as well, but I couldn't watch it. I don't know what it was. I just didn't like it. I don't know if it was the main actress. I just didn't really feel her as Lara Croft. So I'm really hoping that Amazon get a good casting, and if they can fall out this show, wow, fantastic. Great. But I don't know. I think that's might be asking a little much, and I don't understand it really as well. Like like Tomb Raider has such like a core fan base over the years, and the stories are kind of there. You know what I mean? Like it seems like a bit of an easy like a hit and run, like a hit, you know, just hit and run. Obviously, the wrong. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say. But basically, it should be a home run, and I just feel like they can never get it right, and I don't understand why. You know what I mean? Like James Bond movies, like it's like just do that sort of thing. Like she's a kind of like a female kind of James Bond sort of like like fucking treasure hunter. Indiana Jones. Like I just don't understand why they can't pull this off. It seems quite easy. Like
It's probably because they're too far up their ass about a female heroine that they don't want to make it fleshed out properly. It's just like you can easily do it. Like it's no like it's not hard. Just make her into a badass and there you go. But like when you give her shit villains, that's what really kills it for me. Like when you have a really good main character, but the villains are shit.
I
It's
couldn't name one villain from Tomb Raider. I
because they were
couldn't
terrible.
couldn't even tell you one, bro.
They were terrible.
Yeah, I could not tell you one.
I did like the original with Angelina Jolie. I think it was like I can't remember the actor's name, but he's recognizable. I always thought that he was a good casting for a villain, and of course it was like just the race to getting the treasure that
Yeah.
they were after, and I think like eventually I can't remember did it end with her having to just let it go and like not get the treasure and then he gets trapped in it or something.
I genuinely don't know. I don't remember.
It's
What I'm looking at it now, the casting, and what I find hilarious, which I didn't know at the time, but I know now. So Angelina Jolie plays Lara Croft. John Voight, her real life father, plays
yes,
Richard Croft in the movie.
so good.
So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Ah man, like this came out in like 2001. I just remember like I was like absolutely in love with her back then, like because like she was just incredible looking, and she was like in Gone in 60 Seconds and stuff like that, like and Hackers and all these cool movies that I just loved. And like
Yeah.
even that couldn't save the fucking movie for me. Daniel Craig's in this actually. He plays a guy named Alex West. I don't know, is that the main bad guy?
No, it's Ian Glenn.
Ian Glenn, yeah. Yeah.
He's
So like
he's so good.
yeah. Yeah, no, he is. He's cool. He plays obviously he was in like Game of Thrones and stuff like that, but he plays Batman in the Titans movie, in the Titans TV show as well. Like he got to play like an older version of Bruce Wayne, which I thought was pretty cool because like he kind of has the look, But yeah, that show. Well, I don't even want to talk about that. That kind of started really well and then just like completely fucking flopped. Wasn't good come the end.
Well, it's kind of cool. Like it's kind of cool how Ian Glenn, like he's played a couple villains in the past, but like his I would say one of his more memorable roles was in Game of Thrones. Correct?
Oh yeah, yeah. He's the dude who's like in love with Daenerys.
Mm-hmm.
And like, just like he's her protector, like, and she just like friend zones him with the whole show. It's just hilarious. Oh, so funny. I saw so many great memes around that at the time when it was out. Like, it's like, you are the love of my life, blah, blah, blah. Then it was just like the scene, like when someone reads your messages, it says scene with the tick on it. And she just like completely ignores it. Oh, dude.
And then
so
then you cut to the later memes with like, my queen.
Yeah.
My queen.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's so funny. apparently I don't really have much else to talk about, but I saw Chris Pratt saying in an interview there last week that it's probably kind of not, he's not confirming it's set in stone, but he's probably going to take up some role in the DCU because of James Gunn. You know, obviously the two of them are very close. He's kind of said, like, you know, realistically going forward, I'm probably going to be in the DCU somewhere and in the MCU as Star-Lord. So I was going to ask the question, and this question goes out to anybody listening or watching. Who would you like to see Chris Pratt play in the DCU?
I know this might be, I know it might be annoying, but I almost want to say Hal Jordan. Like I like, it's just, it's kind of there. I can see it because like of the confidence that Chris Pratt kind of shows as Star-Lord. I could see that being translated over to Hal.
Yeah.
I just don't, I don't know if like he can handle it to the fullest, especially if like he's being consumed by the fear and he becomes Parallax for a while. I don't think they'll ever get that far. I think they'll just probably keep it between like the Green Lanterns and the Sinestro Corps.
Probably.
But it like, I think that would be a pretty decent pick. I'd also, do you think he could ever turn up as a villain? Do you think he could like try to do a villain, or do you think he's just too goofy?
Yeah, I just don't see it. You know, I think one of the big kind of fan castings for him, and I fully agree with this, is Booster Gold.
No, I don't think he can fill that. Like it just doesn't. No,
I think about it, bro. Think about him in the suit with the hair and everything, and just he goes on like Booster in the comics. Like he's just like fucking goofball, and you'd have to get somebody good to play the robot and have the two of them bounce off each other, like get like Bradley Cooper, like put it right on the nose, like, you know, do something
Right.
stupid like that. You know what I mean? Like that's something James Gunn would do. But yeah, I think he could be a good Booster. I like the idea of villain, but I don't know who I could see him as a villain in DC.
See, and the funny thing about that is like when I think about Booster Gold, like I think about someone like Ryan Gosling who could 100% pull that off, because like
Yeah,
he could totally be a goofball, and Booster Gold's a pretty boy.
yeah, true.
Like when he dons that suit and he looks fucking glistening. And so like I could totally see that. I could see Ryan Reynolds playing that. That's why I say it's so hard for me to see Chris Pratt, because I don't see like the full take of it being like that well done. That's why I think that maybe Hal Jordan would be a better pick, only for the fact that like it's just maybe like because like you could see the range of his emotions in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Like that was insane when you see him like actually crying for Rocket Raccoon. That movie is actually like, it's a little underrated. It's not overrated in my opinion. I think it's okay, but there's moments where it's underrated.
I didn't like it. I do need to rewatch it, but I was very upset with that movie when I left the cinema because I was expecting it to be a lot more. I was hoping that it was going to kind of revitalize the MCU, and I just went in and was just like, ugh. Where he went out into space, bro, and he like blew up, and then like 2 seconds later he was fine. That shit drove me crazy.
I totally get that. I think maybe they should have sped up that point so that it didn't look like he was already dead.
Yeah.
Because like at that point it's like, how the fuck do you live through that? But then again, like they have futuristic technology, so it's like, it's hard. It's really hard when you play that game. Like when that's
it was more the fake out though, not like the healing really. It was more the fake out. You know what I mean? Because it was just like the whole build up to the movie was just, this is going to be disaster. This is going to be, you know, and we knew that like a couple of contracts were ending in real life. So I was going in expecting death and tragedy and just like, you know, an abrupt end to James Gunn at Marvel and all this sort of stuff. Like, and I just thought it was going to be like crazy. I thought James Gunn was going to like set the ship on fire and literally leave, you know, like I that's kind of what I wanted. And just it just felt like such a cop out. You know, we spent the whole movie trying to heal a dying Rocket Raccoon, and then he doesn't die. And then, you know, then we see Pratt like expanding and about to burst in space. And I was like, oh, it's been a misdirect the whole time. Pratt's gonna die. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. I didn't see that coming. And then boom, he's fine a second later. And then Drax like is like, you know, I'm leaving you know, his contract's done. I'm leaving. But then, you know, he kind of just is like, yes, I'll stay here and train the children or whatever. I was like, what? I was like, that was it, you know. So I was kind of just, it was just disappointment after disappointment with me for that movie. But I will rewatch it kind of with more of kind of expectation set because I obviously know what's coming. But there were definitely some good moments in it. But man, I don't know. But when I think of Pratt as Booster Gold, I think of him. I think of Star-Lord from the first movie. And that's kind of more where I kind of see a Booster hanging out. You know, he's got a bit of a womanizer and he's a cool dude. He's got the gadgets and he's just like, you know, shooting around with the rocket boots and just kicking ass, like not giving a fuck. Like, you know, that's the kind of the Booster I see him playing. But yeah, I don't know. Hal Jordan's interesting. I really like Tom. I really like Tom Cruise for Hal Jordan though. I think that'd be really cool.
I'm over it. I'm over it with Tom Cruise. I think he's.
I think it'd be cool. But if he wasn't the main Lantern, like, you know, he was an aged Lantern, so he came into a kind of already, like, you know, like the kind of Earth Lantern, and then, you know, maybe they move on to like Jon Stewart straight away, sort of thing. He comes in as kind of like a seasoned veteran, sort of.
Yeah, I could see that. God, you know, if that's the case, then I would put him as Alan Scott just to kind of put it full circle.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was actually the original Green Lantern, and he literally held a lantern.
Nice.
Man, it's hard to tell, because, like, you know, in terms of casting, because like you want so many people want these AAA actors to jump in on the scene, like people that really want, like, you know, we really want this person, or we really want that person. I kind of think like it's, you know, as the years are going by, yeah, we're like, we still have these actors, but like, I kind of want to just see what new people have, like, you know, just kind of pull in a new group, try that, like do a Young Avengers, do like young, do the Teen Titans, do something weird, something that we like, maybe we've seen before, but something that we could make a little wacky or even just extra serious. It's hard, like it really is hard for me to want to keep like sitting with these A-list actors, because then that's all we talk about, and then when these new people come around, it's really hard to take them in unless they're just one hit, like just amazing, they're from the get-go, which I think is really tough for a lot of actors nowadays.
Yeah, I think that was the beauty of the start of the MCU, right? Like that it was not too many A-listers. And the A-listers that were there were in supporting roles. They weren't really in like the leading roles. Like obviously like Robert Downey Jr. had been an actor for a while, but he'd obviously gone through all of his real life shit and he was kind of on the comeback, and it wasn't really maybe it was a bit of a gamble for Marvel to take him on. But
100%.
yeah, and we obviously know how amazing that was. Like, you know, Chris Hemsworth, I think, had done one role on the big screen before Thor, and that was like the first 3 minutes of like Star Trek, where he played Kirk's father. Like that was it. Like, and then that like he hadn't been seen on the big screen since. So like that was kind of crazy that he got Thor, and then, you know, Tom Hiddleston originally auditioned for Thor, but then got Loki, and again, like, you know, nobody knew who any of these guys were, so you weren't kind of taken out of the storyline by like, oh look, it's Tom Cruise playing fucking Iron Man, you know? It's like,
Right.
or Leonardo DiCaprio playing fucking Loki or whatever it is, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, let's just watch these characters unfold and see how it goes from there. And obviously now we know they're big giant superstars now, but even today, like, you know, I think even I'm trying to think of like new castings for the MCU. Like obviously the Eternals kind of went a bit off book for Marvel, and, you know, brought like Angelina Jolie and Selma Hayek in and stuff like that, like people who are kind of big actresses and stuff. But I think it kind of worked for that team. Like it didn't take me out of it either. Like, you know, it was kind of great to see them in the MCU.
Yeah,
Like,
of course.
even like your man Simu Liu, or I think I'm saying his name, from Shang-Chi. Like I don't consider him a big actor, like, but I thought he did fantastic in that role. And
He did great.
He's kind of become better as time has gone on now. Like, you know, he's become more famous and he's popping up in more things now. But
And I
yeah,
enjoy his attitude. I really
Yeah.
enjoy like who he is as a person as well, like, which makes it a lot easier for me to, you know, watch him on the big screen. I think the choice for Aquafina was like really tough, considering that like she also wants to be like a very silly kind of character.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what direction they were trying to go with for the movie. But like from everything that we've seen in the movie, if you notice, like there's very little joking, which I kind of like. But like the moment Aquafina chimes in, it's like a joke, and it doesn't sit well because the rest of the movie is trying to be serious.
True.
It's just this weird situation. Like the moment you see Wong and Abomination that was a cool moment because it's like, okay, so we have a little bit of like mixture. We see that someone from a different genre, or not genre, but like from a different comic series is pulled in here to essentially like be a part of the universe. And it worked out. Like he kicked the shit out of Abomination. Like it's known that they've been doing this here and there just so that they can make some extra money. And like I really wish that they had fleshed that out even further when they went into She-Hulk, because then like maybe we could have had him be like a double crosser, kind of be like, oh no, I'm on the up and up, I'm straight. And then like halfway through, he breaks out because they let him out, and then he just goes on a rampage. And then it's just the rest of the show is trying to figure out how to recapture him.
Yeah.
Like, which would have been so fucking fun.
Yeah.
But like it was that whole spiel about how the next generation of Marvel was just going to double down on being silly and stupid.
Mhm.
And it ruined things. And so like that's why I say like maybe get a new cast of people, because maybe then people will be less worried about the fact that like if it's like joking too much or if it's too serious or whatnot, because then you have all these characters that are trying, or all these actors that are trying to showcase a different range or their like kind of up and coming role. And then like you get that kind of like feeling of like, oh, okay, this person's going to be big, or okay, this person's going to be funny, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas like, you know, RDJ's funny. You know, Chris Evans can be funny. He could also be serious at times. These AAA actors are like so good, and you know their range. So it's like, that's kind of what I really liked about Star Wars. I remember you were telling me before, and I was also aware of this, is that they would hire actors that are like not really out there yet.
Yeah.
Very little known about them, and giving them a shot essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, George said like he never wanted somebody to be sitting down in the theater looking at like Anakin Skywalker and going, "Oh wow, that's Leonardo DiCaprio there." Like they never wanted that. But then obviously, you know, like he brought like Samuel L. Jackson in, for example, like who obviously is famous, of course, but I think like, you know, when you're talking about like secondary characters, I suppose it's not as important. Like when you're following your main characters, it's nice that they're not these big, like, you know, automatically already famous people, like, because it kind of just makes it harder to immerse yourself in the storyline when you're following somebody around and you know that they're somebody else already, you know?
Right. And I think that's what Marvel is missing at this moment. And hopefully they're working on a project for it. I think that when they do the Young Avengers, they need to bring back the original Avengers and have them as mentors, have them as secondary characters to assist the ones that are becoming the new heroes of today. And like, it'll like some people might be against it, but that's the whole point of heroes. At first, you're probably against them because you don't know who they are. You're afraid of them. You don't know what they're capable of. And then you learn that they're actually like pretty damn good at what they do and that they're going to protect you. And if you have fuck ups here and there from the younger side, then the older generation gets to teach them how to cope with that.
Yeah.
You know, that's the whole process. That's what I love about Marvel. Like you when you get the Young Avengers and whatnot, like, you know, when you have like leadership issues and whatnot, like you remember with like the Titans and whatnot with Robin, like he was always having leadership issues because he was always like fucked up in the head after what happened between like him and Slade. It's just like it's cool to see like that perspective of like growing up and like just immersing yourself with like all these different things that you would deal with on a daily basis, not in terms of like, I have to just like save a building from being blown up, but more so like just a day-to-day thing, like overcoming your adversaries.
Facts. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. You were speaking about Young Avengers for a second, and it popped something into my head, and maybe well, let this be the last topic of the night. But Jeremy Renner I saw he was on like Jimmy Kimmel during the week, and like obviously I don't know if you've been interested in it, but like I've been following his recovery very closely because it's a miracle that the man is alive. You know, he had that big accident New Year's last year, like I think it was like in January 2023. Like where
Did he
was
shred his
crushed.
leg?
No, he was like physically crushed, like his whole body went under like a snowcat. And like because the snow was so thick, it didn't, like, he literally went under one of the wheels. But he said that like one of his eyes popped out of his head and everything, like, and he like was completely fucked up, bro. Like it was, he should be dead, like genuinely should be dead. I think he broke like shattered both of his legs, like, you know, broke like 14 ribs, and his fucking skull was cracked, everything. Like, he said he could see his eye with his other eye. That's how far out of his head his eyeball came. Like, and insane, man. How he's alive is beyond me. But you know, I was watching his recovery, and you know, he did a couple of like interviews and stuff like that, and he was putting up some videos on like Instagram and stuff of him walking with canes and stuff. But it's gotten to a stage now, like, it's a miraculous recovery, to where, I don't know if you've ever watched it, but he has a show on Paramount called Mayor of Kingstown or
Nope.
Kingston.
I haven't seen it yet.
Really good show. Really good show. There's 2 seasons out now. The 3rd season is about to start, but he's already back to work shooting the 3rd season of this show. And they showed a clip on Kimmel, and it's him, like, he's a kind of like detective, but he's like a real kind of like, you know, like hopscotches around the law and stuff like that. Like, so he's a bit of a fucking criminal himself. But the scene is him, and he's just like going up to these 2 cops who, like, you know, from the show, they've been in seasons 1 and 2, and he's like, give me the knuckles, and they're like, come on, man, you can't go in there, and all this stuff. And he ends up grabbing these like brass knuckles and putting them on, and you see him like strolling, and he's walking perfectly. I'm like watching everything that he does, because I'm like, this guy should not be alive. And he's walking perfectly, and he's got like a pair of running shoes on, and he goes down this alleyway, and there's these like 3 bad guys, and he starts beating the fuck out of all of them. And it's him actually doing the stunts and stuff. He does the fight choreography, and I'm absolutely blown away by it. Like, how this man, first of all, is alive at all, but realistically, like, because I remember when I heard that this happened to him, I was like, he's never going to be Hawkeye again. Like, how could he be? Like, how is he? Like, he's barely alive. How could he be Hawkeye again? To watching this scene the other day and going, oh my god, like, Hawkeye season 2 could easily happen. He could easily come back to the Avengers now. Like, it's insane. The man is a real life superhero. Like, seriously, like, it's mind blowing, bro. Yeah,
I'm glad he
like,
survived. Holy shit.
there's look it up, man. I thought you were on top of all this, but there's you can watch interviews with him. I think he did like a big interview like on CNN or something, like like an official interview. Like, it was kind of the first time he was ever back on camera, and he talks about the whole incident and the whole accident and everything like that. Like, and Jesus, bro, like, this was when it was kind of fresh as well. Like, they went out to his house, and like, he was walking around with a cane and stuff like that. Like, but you know, he's had full kind of live-in, you know, recovery, like physios and all this sort of stuff like that. Like, and yeah, man, I don't know, man. It's just it's insane to me that he's still alive. Like, it's absolutely bonkers. Like, yeah, man, what a hero. What a hero.
Yeah, it's crazy because like I really thought he just crushed his legs. Like, that's the gist of it that I assumed.
No,
because
the thing
I remember he
ran over his entire body.
Oof. Wasn't he trying to save like his nephew or something?
His nephew, yeah. So
Yeah.
the apparently the snowcat thing started rolling down the hill of his house. He was trying to clear the road, and I don't think they put it in park properly, and it started to roll. And what he tried to do was climb up onto it to be able to, you know, apply the brake or whatever. And he ended up getting one of his legs caught in the
track.
the track thing. Yeah. Hang on, I'm gonna see if I can pull a picture of it up. Just to help.
Yeah, and like, it essentially pulled him down.
It just, like, yeah, he got caught up in it, and it basically just, hang on,
ran him over.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm terrible at doing this. I need to practice. I need to practice sharing my screen off air. That was it there. Can you see this?
Yeah, and yeah, you could totally see like where like his eye, like his left eye was fucked up, and like it looks like they did have to put it back in. Like, it's hard to tell. Like, you can't be like, oh, his eye was popped out or anything, but it does look very fucking swollen. And it looks a lot different from his right eye. So like, yeah,
he climbed up on this. His foot got caught. He got dragged under it, and apparently, I think they were saying emergency services, because he was in Tahoe and he was like so far up the mountain in his house that it was like it took like the ambulances and stuff like a long time to get there. I think he was like maybe 40 minutes on the ground before they got to him. Scary shit, man. But yeah, like he said, like literally he had to just sit there and concentrate on his next breath. That's all he could do. And he was like literally sitting there just kind of going, focusing on not dying, and just sit there and wait. And he said that like one of the things he said, he's like, the one thing I could be thankful for is for the rest of my life, I will never have a bad day. Because he said
Yeah.
nothing will top this. Like every single day of my life now is a gift, no matter what. He's like, bad days do not exist for me anymore. Like powerful
I,
stuff.
I
Like
yeah, I could totally agree with that because like nothing's worse than
yeah,
being
like
about to.
what's he gonna give out about being stuck in traffic or something, or like shooting a fucking $1 billion movie and what he has to like stay on set for 5 hours one of the days. Like you know what I mean? Like it's like yeah,
I
what do
got
you
my
give out?
coffee wrong.
Yeah, what do you give out about after that? After surviving that, like it's crazy, dude.
And like it when you were talking about the whole breathing situation, it did remind me about how in Demon Slayer when Zenitsu like was literally dying from the poison, and
Yeah,
all he could think about was like just breathe, just take a deep breath, and just like hold out. Like something's gonna happen, you'll be fine.
yeah.
And then it's slowly fading away, and then eventually you get saved. So good.
Yeah, so good, man. So good.
You do what you can to save the lives of others, and it may get you all, it may also get you killed, but if you calm down during pressure, like a miracle can happen.
Yeah, yeah, and like he just like clearly says in the interviews and stuff like oh, didn't even think twice about it. He's like, my nephew needed my help, and that was it. Like I went to save his life, and that was it. And he's like, I wouldn't change. He like I would have done the exact same thing again. Like could you imagine being the nephew? Like how guilty you'd feel. Because I think it might have been the nephew who like didn't apply the brake properly and jumped out. And then I think the
Yeah.
thing was about to run him over or something. Like, oh, the guilt you'd feel like.
Yeah, but like if once they're fully recovered, it's less guilt and more grateful. Like you just
True.
want to express your gratitude.
I would feel a lot of guilt if me personally, if I was to blame for potentially almost killing my uncle and like literally.
Oh yeah, like I'm not saying
almost every bone in his body.
Yeah, I'm not saying it. I'm not saying there wouldn't be any. I'm just saying like once the recovery is full and there's no like permanent damage at this point, or maybe there is, but like it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Then you turn that regret or that guilt into like gratitude. Because you're so thankful that they're still alive, and you're thankful that they did what they could to make sure that you stayed alive as well. Nobody died, so like that's the best scenario you can get out of this. And thankfully, like, and you're right, the dude's a hero. Like it's really rare for some people to actually try to do that, and
Yeah,
it's immaculate.
absolutely.
And he's always been a fun actor to me, so like to lose him so early would have sucked.
Absolutely, yeah. Like I would call myself a fan, and not just for the Marvel stuff. Like I think he's done a lot of really cool stuff. Yeah, like big time. It would have been a big loss. I don't really have anything else to talk about, so do you want to break for we'll break for the week?
Yeah, I'm really trying to hold it together. Look at all the sneezing.
I know. Get some rest. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, dude. And guys, if you're new to the channel, drop a subscription, leave a like on the video on your way out. Maybe if you're watching us on a replay or you're listening to us on Spotify, leave a review, drop us a comment. Anything, it all helps us grow. YouTube love any sort of interaction with these videos, so smash the like button, all that sort of stuff. And we'll see you in the next one. All right, guys. Bye.